Recording. Okay. What is up, kings and queens? Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses.
Yeah.
Peace and Pan-Afrikanism.
Ashe.
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 I would like to welcome you to episode 2 of Wo.Ke Podcast. I know we've kept you waiting for some time, but good things are worth waiting for, right? Yeah, so what's on today's menu, bro?
Hey, kuna mtu mob. I don't know where we'll start, but we ask you guys to join us as we go through these things.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about a lot of things. Kuna vitu zingine because ki happen, so let me just check.
We've got hot topics for you.
Ban hazina Ivana,
I know we're supposed to discuss the balance of divine masculine and feminine.
Yeah. The balance of the masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
True masculine, modern day Western feminism, and LGBTQ agenda.
Right.
Yeah, actually they just go together, Joe.
Yes, they are all intertwined.
Yeah, in the issue. Where do we start? I think we all can relate. We are dudes.
Yes.
Masculinity, divine masculine.
Right.
Sindio?
Yep.
And as much as we also dudes, at the end of the day, we are men, but we are born from both a man and a woman.
Exactly.
Which means at the end of the day, the man is the one who we are saying. The one who we cannot save the woman.
Yep.
Because we have both your father and your mother.
And for men, we have both the X and Y chromosome.
Yeah.
So even at the physiological level, we have a feminine side. Half of us is feminine physiologically. And yeah, even if you look at the baby in the womb, they start out with the clitoris, I think, and then it grows into a penis. So, there's that feminine side of even us men, right?
Hey, that's it. I guess
yeah. Speaking of balance of divine masculine and feminine, if you look at the symbols we have on our necks, our necklaces, these are ankhs, right? And the ankh is the perfect embodiment of divine masculine and feminine, because the ankh has the shaft, which represents the penis of the man. It has the womb, the circle, that represents the feminine, the woman. And then the offspring are, the crosses. That's one representation of the ankh. There are various representations of the ankh. But that's just to tell you, our ancestors had this understanding, of a balance of divine masculine and divine feminine.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's the whole point of the ankh.
Right.
The other crosses in Akwanga mostly male and male, but the ankh actually has the two polarities, which is both male and female.
Female, exactly.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. And almost everything is balanced out in such a way. So, that's why saa zingine you ask some people, like, you listen to them talk, then you're like, are you actually born from both a man and a man?
Right.
So why are you talking this about like the feminine energy and women? As in like the way when men we try to tap into a feminine energy, because you have it, the feminine side. When you try to tap into that side, other dudes are coming and telling you what you need.
Yeah, that makes sense, because even when I got into yoga, at the time I was working out in the gym, so I told my buddy, I'm gonna try yoga. And they're like, iyo ni umama, unajua. They don't, because we've been brainwashed, ignorance, like you said, that certain practices are for women only. And the same for our sisters, they have been told that certain practices are for men only. But with the mindset that we have both polarities inside of us, we should be able to embrace, anything that empowers us as people.
And for those who are wondering what yoga really is, yoga is just good appropriate breathing techniques while incorporating stretching moves. Just to stretch too.
Okay.
It is to stretch too while you're breathing.
Right.
You know, breathing in that good prana. You know. Diving deep.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we got to be smart about it, but smart itusaidie kila kitu.
Yeah.
So we truly have to be also honest with ourselves, and especially about this masculinity and femininity.
Yes.
And what it actually entails. Because from Pinyetuko, much of what we have is actually from the system.
Right.
Against us.
Right.
So we have to sit down and understand, especially what our ancestors left behind. Kila mtu anibia. Everybody in this world, if you actually go sit down, everybody's drawing the knowledge and wisdom from these ancient people. So why are we listening
ancient
to these
African people?
Ancient African people. In fact, we're Africans and indigenous people all over the earth, because we are global people during those days.
Yes.
So why are we listening to second-hand information instead of going to the source? It's like telling Christians, "Simwende msomezo those in the scripts." I mean. The writings on the wall, in the
hieroglyphics.
The hieroglyphics. This is plagiarized and it's like copied version of copied. So we have to go back to the source. Like everything is going back to the source. So.
Yeah. We have to go back to source, and then okay. Here we're going to be more centered on melanated people. So when you talk about a balance of divine masculine and feminine, we're talking about the black man and the black woman, the melanated man and woman coming together and building a nation together. So this gender war that is going on, even online, I see a lot of, hateful comments coming from both sides of the divide. And the thing is, we've been trained to compete against each other. And so, whenever people are having a discussion online, it's not from a position of wanting to understand the other, but it's about being right. And that's very, wrong, because we want us to build a strong nation together. And then, so the thing about Western feminism is that it has brainwashed us to believe that we are at war with each other. So we're looking at a patriarchal system that is not indigenous to Africa. It mostly came with colonization and slavery. And so even, I must admit, there's been a lot of oppression of women from us as black men. We have to take accountability for that. But if you look at the root cause of it, it boils down to the trauma inflicted on us by colonization and slavery. So instead of fighting against each other, we first need to identify the common enemy, and that is white supremacy. That is the common enemy that has brought us down this lane. So we need to be healing each other instead of fighting each other.
Yeah, man. So we stand together, man, we fall. Otherwise, collective destruction or collective responsibility.
Exactly.
Collective destruction of collective security. Hakuna otherwise happy.
Yes.
And we have to sit down and understand that as Africans, lazima tujitete. And indigenous people, we are just the same people now, regardless of where they are, in Australia, South America, India, even in Europe and America, they are there.
Indigenous African people, Asia. I mean, African presence is global.
Nice,
from time immemorial, And to this day, Africans are the only people you can find anywhere in the globe. So, and we are the global majority, but we are not aware of our power as a people, I was reading this book, Marcus Garvey and His Vision for Africa, and it was saying the power of the colored people is that the white world is dependent upon them for their survival, and the power of the white world is their technique of economic organization, scientific organization. So for them, they are more organized than us. They have that consciousness that they need to take care of their own interests first and foremost. And so once we realize that we have a lot of power just by even numbers alone and come together, then we can build such a fantastic nation. You know, like the ancients.
Kabisa? In fact, if you actually read about Asclepius and Imhotep, I mean Asclepius is Imhotep, Asclepius and Hermes. Hermes being Tehuti, Asclepius being the Greek version of Imhotep. So it was Imhotep and Tehuti. There's this prophecy Ali put out. And the prophecy is actually adopted in the Bible. They actually talk about how in the last days people will lose themselves. They have the love for good and the love for evil, and the good what I discard. The sane person will be looked at as insane. The wise person will be looked at as foolish. So they actually did put out that prophecy. But in the church, in the mainstream, they do not finish it. But also, if you go back to the original text, they do actually finish it, and they say, in the last days, or rather, when the time will come, that these Africans will descend, or rather, these children of the earth and the universe will descend, yes, but they will rise again, and they will build a new Kemet, and they will build a new civilization, something that has never been seen before. Yeah, so it's the grand rising, you know.
Grand rising.
Grand risings, you know, the divine risings.
Yes.
And it's so like, and personally I usually like to talk to bado sijafanya hivyo as much, but I've been thinking about it, to talk to my African Christians and tell them, let us be honest, first of all, I don't think Jesus is coming to save you guys. The year you had been, man. I talk to some text. He is talking about saving guys 2,000 years ago. That generation.
Right.
He's not talking about this generation. This generation of ours is saying, do not call him. There's someone else greater is coming. You go by text to a Bible, like Jesus and someone greater is coming. And so religious people do not understand this. So this is for Africans. Your savior is not a white man, by the way. Our savior is our people, and Tehuti and Imhotep, when they put up that, those are the ones who are actually coming back.
Yes.
Na alafu it will be a trinity, because they will usher in Heru. Because Tehuti is like your two guardians who are coming to usher you in. You being the Heru, sasa. It doesn't matter if you're boy or girl. Imanishi you. So those are the people that we are looking for to save us. Now already wako hapa wanafanya kazi yao. I mean, they never left. Watu wamekuja juzi wanataka kufanya like we've lost our people, we've lost our ancestors, our power. No, they're just here. With the ones who have been disconnected from everything, and now we're connecting back.
Exactly.
To our roots.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I like how you said there is one greater who's coming. I feel like that one is actually you.
Exactly.
You know,
the hero of the story.
The hero of the story,
yeah.
So it boils down to you realizing your higher self, realizing your higher consciousness, and elevating to a level where you can save yourself. You know, instead of waiting for an external savior. But there will come teachers along the way, gurus along the way, who will like point you in the direction that you can take. You know, they're just serving like a map. They're going to tell you, if you take this path, you will get to this point. But you have to walk the path, you know. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. So you have to go down that road, you know. Just like in the Matrix.
Neo decided.
You know, in the Matrix, Neo needed Morpheus to show him the path and to remind him of who he is, that he's the special one. But he had to go down that road. He had to go to the oracle. He had to realize that he is the one that's going to like save the chosen people.
Kabisa. And the funny thing is, in the Matrix, that very specific Neo, when you see to watch, he was not the one. In fact, he was not even worthy.
Right.
That's what we found out in the end of the movie. But if you study well, when he became the one is when he died. Then he realized it's like no one else wants to take a stand.
Right.
Then he rose. They actually rose. Adi Smith alikuwa anaangalia I just pump bullets. I'm still alive, man.
Exactly. It was like no. And then the way he was fighting them, you know, like they are babies. He was cooling them.
So yeah, I mean, whether we like it or not, there's that descent that you have to go through so that you can ascend. You know, lazima ifanyike hivyo.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Like to rise to your highest point, you have to reach certain laws. I think it just comes down to polarity. Like in this third dimensional reality that we live in, polarity plays a huge role. You know, male, female, good, evil, light, darkness. they just have to balance out. So for you to know your highest good, there must be some suffering on the other side of the polarity. You know, pleasure, pain,
light, darkness, yeah.
Exactly. And so we are here in this current time to master the third dimension, and that involves mastering the polarities.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of us spending so much of our energy fighting each other, we need to redirect that energy to empowering each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. And build and rebuild.
Exactly. And so let's look at the state the black man finds himself in at the moment. Okay, for me, it comes down to white patriarchal society, because when colonization and slavery were introduced, we saw a breakdown of the African indigenous culture. Before this mess, we had societies that were matriarchal, we had societies that were patriarchal, and all of these societies thrived.
Yeah.
It's not like all societies were patriarchal, all societies were matriarchal. No, there was a mixture of both, and in all societies there was roles. Women had their roles, men had their roles, and I think that's a very good approach to life, because it removes a lot of confusion that we face today. Like in the system we are in, you know, we go to school and we are forced to compete with each other. We go to the workplace, we are forced to compete with each other for higher status, higher positions, and this sort of has brought a lot of confusion amongst young people. Like, okay, I'm a man, what am I supposed to do? I'm a woman, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to relate with the opposite sex? So after patriarchy came, we decided to imitate this white man, you know, or this white boy.
We didn't know what to do, Mama.
Yeah, we were like, okay, this person has a lot of power, he has a lot of intellect, and we forgot who we were. We were like, okay, let's behave like this man. This is the standard of masculinity we should embrace. As a result of that, there was a lot of maybe evil cultures introduced into our society, evil taboos that were introduced that were oppressive to women. You know, we became hostile against women and all sorts of things like that. But now the black man has to heal himself. Once that healing occurs, he'll remember, oh, this is not who I am. This is just me conforming to standards that are not my own. You know, the same for women. Actually, let's also focus on our sisters. You know, there's a lot of trauma from colonization and slavery that's passed down the DNA through several generations, and these unhealed parts of women are also projected onto men.
You
know. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, you talked about healthy competitions.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, you talked about competitions, but our problem, especially where we are, we have a problem about people not knowing what healthy competition is and unhealthy competition is. Competition is not bad. It actually improves on creativity, ingenuity, and like different methods of doing like the same thing. We also want after different ideas, meaning, but it's the way it's working against us. We have to change a thing or two about that. Cooperation will actually help us better.
Yes, Ubuntu.
Yeah, and also about the black man and the black woman. As in our health, lazima tutushughulikie. Hakuna otherwise.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the medical industry is not tailored for our biochemistry.
Wow, I'm glad you've mentioned that.
It's not.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's tailored for biochemistry.
That's so true. When they're making these pharmaceutical drugs, when they're making their vaccines, it is tailored for their biochemistry, like you said. So they are more likely to benefit from it, but they never consider melanated people when they are making these drugs, and so they won't provide healing in the long term.
In fact, it's a treatment that keeps you sick or something. So there was Dr. Laila Africa. Dr. Laila Africa, there was a video Ali post on YouTube. He was talking about how the black nation should take care of the black woman, because the system actually profits from the destruction of the black woman. It doesn't profit from the destruction of the black man.
Really?
It actually profits from the destruction of the black woman. Because of she bears the children, they put her sick, they put her with all these bills, they put her with all this stress. So that's why when I check this single woman thing in America, especially among black women, is a crisis. Because they've realized that's what they've been doing, frustrating the black women, because that's how they make the money. They make money. Man, by the way, like after a few days, me just decide to look for something else. But
I will beg to differ with that point. I feel like the system profits from the destruction of both the black woman and the black man. Because even for black men, like realizing that we're in a system where, in general, if the world is a pyramid of like financial capability or like decision making power, you find that as melanated people, we are at the bottom of the pyramid, and this affects our ego so much, because at one time in our existence we were the rulers of this earth. So right now we're in a system where we have to conform to capitalism, we have to conform to the systems of government, economics, education, politics that have been installed in our society. So this is actually an issue, because if we were powerful like before, we'll be able to provide for our women, we'll be able to protect our women. Actually, it affects both sides, both the masculine and feminine, the way I look at it.
Okay, actually, I'm just writing more points on what you're saying.
Okay.
The funny thing is, you are Africans who don't realize, and indigenous people who don't realize that we were once rulers.
Right.
What you just said.
Right.
And right now, we are squatters. In fact, tunaishi kama machokora. We're living like street kids. We're living like tunaishi tu ni like the way we are living. We came from grace now to grass. But the joy of it is that you will ascend again back to grace.
Right.
So it's just how you do it. So our people, it'll be Wo.Ke down. They have to realize that, you know what, it's time to become self-sufficient and build skills and crafts that will nurture into later generations and be passed down.
Right.
Make it when about like set up in society. You see, like especially men, most of them cannot pass down anything. Like when you just go and sit down, a lot of men, like our parents, our uncles, these guys cannot pass down any skill, any craft,
any knowledge.
Like you, like what you guys been doing, man? You in marriage all these years, you cannot tell me anything. As you have acquired all this wealth, like you cannot teach me anything. Like what is this, man? So we have to change and restructure. Things have changed. 30 years ago, see our parents' generation, from campus directly, you just get a job. Things were just easy. Right now things are complicated. Every one of us cannot go 9 to 5. Very true. That's just what we always cannot go corporate. We have to do what China does, America did, and other places, and incorporate, like, we give as much attention to academic, same to other things that are not academic. You see, like in States, man, it's not academic that pays. But why NBA, they get a lot of money, more than someone in an office.
I know.
A degree,
I know.
This guy gets millions and millions of dollars a year.
Exactly.
This one NBA player can finance a whole African country. So we have to change these things, man. There's a lot, and we are the most richest people. Anybody to maybe these people have stolen from us,
and we still rise. And we
are still rich, man. In fact, I'm pretty much sure those days of Kina Mansa Musa, these savages were coming from those Caucasus mountains when in Africa, we do not have food, we do not have money. These kings are like, come, there's all for everybody.
Right.
You want
there's all this gold.
There's all it, take when they. You want to steal, take and go.
Yes.
Kufia huko, of course. There's enough actually for everybody. The fact that people think that resources are few is because we are congested in like urban centers. I don't know if I talk spread. The land is so big, man.
So big.
There's a lot of.
If you just travel up country, you will see a lot of empty land, and that's just in Kenya. Like the whole of Africa, there's a lot of space for everyone. Even our population at 1.5 billion doesn't fill the continent, nowhere close to fill the continent. So all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora can come back home and there will still be enough space.
But then we still not feel the weight.
Yeah, and I would like to encourage our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, come back home. Let us build Africa together. Because Africa is the only place where, as melanated people, we can generate our own nation, our own African nation. Like all these other continents, be it North America, Europe, the Americas in general, we are still confined to that system of white supremacy. But here in Africa is where we can decide, okay, we can take charge of our own destiny and build from the ground up.
Yeah, man. As in, you see, what they were talking about, there was this thing about China rising. They were talking about that when China rises, the West is done for. That's what they hid this other information, which was when Africa rises, the whole earth is done for.
The whole earth is done for.
In fact, not earth, the world is done for. The earth is energy, the earth the world is done for.
The matrix.
Yeah, it got done for, man. So they they actually, they're trying to suppress us, but we have to ground ourselves to what you're supposed to do.
True. And it is important for us to embrace trading amongst ourselves, like, keep the money within the community as much as possible. So we should encourage buying African products. Whatever it is that is made in Kenya is made in Africa. Buy it.
Marcus Mosiah.
Exactly.
Gavi.
Exactly. Africa for the Africans. And without, as Gavi said, without commerce and industry, people perish economically. And the Negro is perishing because he has no economic system. So once we have that mindset of, there is this t-shirt or shirt that's been made by an African, and prioritize buying that over a Gucci brand, we have to get to that level.
Yeah. I was told a story here in Africa. There's a place in Nairobi. There's this Muindis. They have money, isn't it? They came and they found out, these Africans are making these t-shirts, these African t-shirts, Rasta colors. So they opened a depot, Dove Flex. So they started printing a lot of these t-shirts, importing them. I mean, exporting them, exporting them. So there was this guy who bought one of these t-shirts online. Alafu then ikakuja from shipping. Then he opened it. He sees the tag. It's made from Kenya. Wow. Then he's like, and the price was like 1,500 shillings. Like, but if he had bought it from the local, it was 700 shillings. Wow. So alikuwa disappointed like it. Yeah. But we have a long way to go. And this is the foreigners actually they're actually capitalizing on our own penny. Kama hawa Indi, I won't blame them necessarily, but probably Idi Amin was right, but says but I don't blame them necessarily. I'll actually have to, charity begins at home. Ni nini sisi tunafanya, as in sisi we are slacking down. That's why these guys are looking at, these guys have opportunities, but they don't know how to capitalize on it. They have the flex. Yes. So they see you've started something, and they realize, I can take it large scale. Because you cannot take it large scale, but he can do it. Because I can have flex.
And business acumen.
Exactly, man. So these foreigners are coming here. Right now, it's not colonization that is happening. It's a different form of colonization.
Neo-colonization.
So wanakuja, they have flex, they have financial muscle, they have intelligence, wakona nini. Then they are coming back, then they're realizing you wanted freedom and there's nothing you've done for it. You're just here, chill tu, hakuna kitu mnafanya. In fact, you're actually way worse than you were. Then wanakuja, they're buying properties. People are complaining that there are a lot of foreigners in our country. We're like, you know what? We are not stepping up. See, in fact, a lot of, let's just be honest, hapa vi Kenya, ama youth ukiwapatia pesa kitu ya kwanza wanafikiria ni kunini? Si kuchafua, ni sherehe. These white people, ama these foreigners are looking at you guys like, okay, sherehe mnadai kukuza, haina shida. Tutawaletea sherehe, they come, they open clubs for you, they bring you those products. Exactly. But they capitalize, man. Yes. Huku hivi Burundi, these Burundians are coming into Kenya, they're realizing, there's a lot of opportunities here. And these Kenyans are slacking. Mkenya anaweza utapata Mkenya mgeni anatembeza chai na uza mandazi. So this guy does that and apata some decent amount of money ya kumsustain.
I'm glad you brought up the story of the Indians in capitalizing on the local business. So they saw a business opportunity and they made the best out of it. So this person bought a tissue for 1,500 that would have been 700.
Yeah.
It happens even on the national scale, whereby we sell raw material, we sell our coffee, berries, our tea leaves, our crude oil, unrefined and processed, no value addition. Once they are sent to advanced nations, they refine them and then sell them back to us for a higher price. So those are the kind of things that we need to take care of. Like let's look at Niger, or Niger as some people call it. They are one of the world's largest exporters of uranium. As you know, uranium is a radioactive element that is used to generate nuclear electricity. It can also generate bombs, like the bombs they dropped on Hiroshima. You know that uranium came from Congo.
Yeah, man, that's painful.
The uranium that caused so much destruction came from Congo.
Makes a lot of sense. Where the Masaba Negroes came from. Who went to Japan.
Yes.
But
I digress. So Niger, they have all this uranium, they export it to France. France can generate nuclear electricity and they have power 24/7. Whereas back in Niger, they don't have stable electricity. In fact, they import electricity from countries like Nigeria. You know, so that's the paradox of Africa, rich in mineral resources, poor in terms of monetary resources.
Poor in terms of monetary resources.
Yeah.
Like this
by
guy.
Design, by
design. Okay. But also by design, in fall. So because you can just see the signs. You just see the signs like West Africa, you know, it's about time. It's just about time. And then you say, we know very fast France is broke. You know, France is just broke. If you just look at the history of these people, by the way, because
is a vampire.
These guys come and they wanakuchokoza alafu wanakuambia uko na pesa yangu. They literally do that. Wanakuchokoza, when you clap back, they actually bill you. Wanakuambia ni wajinga sana by the way, si ukubaya.
Yeah, or they put in power, you know, regimes that oppress the people.
Of course, they also do that.
I mean, look at how many leaders have been assassinated due to France, you know, their influence on Africa, their secret societies influence on Africa.
Alafu hapa Nairobi Carrefour imejamba, ama ni Carrefour. Zimejamba.
Man.
Carrefour everywhere. Yeah. These people are not going to help us. Ukweli. Let us talk about something. Kuna kitu moja nimekumbuka. This thing about white people coming to help us. Unaangalia how? These people. Nah.
Exactly.
There's this guy who's giving people money from Wo.Ke. Who does that? This guy is not here to help you.
Right.
Free cash. Almost 7K. To scan your iris. Something's up with that.
There's something fishy, definitely. But they're saying for Wo.Ke, what happens is once you're given the coins, the coins are in demand in the crypto market. So there are some rich people who want to buy the coins. And those are the ones buying your coin and giving you Kenya shillings. But the question is, why the sudden rise of Wo.Ke?
Yes, it's true. Like,
and one of the founders of Wo.Ke is OpenAI's Sam Altman.
Yeah.
So the man behind ChatGPT is still the man behind Wo.Ke. And they're saying the reason for scanning the iris is so that they can distinguish human beings from AI in the cyberspace. So what are they telling you? They're telling you that AI is basically on the cyberspace. AI is becoming indistinguishable from humans. It can behave like a human being. So you can be interacting with AI thinking you're talking to a fellow human being. But I just find it interesting that on the one hand he will found Wo.Ke, and on the other hand he will found OpenAI and ChatGPT. So they know the value of it and having all these people on the platform. And how it will affect.
There was a guy who was saying this thing looks like a serious, high, elaborate scam. Some top level scam. Because this guy is just making money. Because AI, your open AI, open AI.
Yes.
It's equal that nini because there's a stories about Elon Musk pumping in some cash as an incubator. Ikarise akanini wakaiuza to Microsoft, right? Akachukua do yake na Microsoft. So like these guys have just been plowing back cash inaenda wana plow back cash na reinvest it's actually a good approach to actually look in the tech world which we can apply for ourselves. Not at the tuchukue products zao because anytime they will make products for us, it will not be for us.
Exactly.
It will be for them.
It will be for them, for their profit. Profit driven mindset. So as much as possible we need to start building our own products.
Especially in this tech world, what is really going on, we have to truly study, have to chukwe to apply to our because here in Kenya they have actually realized there's so much potential, especially in the tech world. Kuna so much potential here in Kenya, especially M-Pesa will go global. That just solved it. You know what, we are going to this country. These people get something over here.
There's so much going on in the tech space as far as Kenya is concerned. But at the same time, if we look at the top startups in Kenya, they are American, European startups. For example, let's go to taxi hailing apps. Uber, Bolt are already Western startups. We go to food delivery. Uber Eats, Bolt Food. Which other one? Glovo. Again,
there's no food.
Exactly. It's packaged delivery. But the point is, who is doing the innovation for us as a people? Are we at the driver's seat of innovation?
Pulling the strings and all.
Like I studied in South Korea. I lived there for 3 years. Good. So where were we? Me studying in South Korea. Like I said, I lived in South Korea for 3 years. And one thing I noticed about Koreans is the sort of race consciousness or nationalist consciousness they have, whereby they promote themselves first. They take pride in the things they build, And we can see the manifestation of that through companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Kia, and many others. And, they were able to transform the economy in a span of only 60 years from a third world to first world, real quick,
Korea?
Korea, South Korea. And how does it apply to us as African people is the fact that we need to start manufacturing everything that we use for our consumption, or at least we start by doing what we can, whatever little thing you can buy from Africa, from your fellow brothers and sisters, buy from here. Just adjust it.
Sometimes it happens.
So
that's very interesting what you said, because we were thinking like just that region, China, Japan, Korea, something interesting is happening over there, because especially Japan. You remember Japan in the World War, they were actually brought down. Ile vibaya sana. They didn't even have a military presence in their own country. The United States actually started like building their own things and trying to prevent them to forge an army. But right now we are being told Japan is 30 years ahead of the Western world. So as Africans, we have to sit down and indigenous people and understand that Japan is coming from possibly even below us.
Definitely.
Possibly even below us. And Japan is rising even beyond the West. 30 years ahead of the West. This is very interesting.
Very interesting. And if you look at the approach that they took in terms of education, they sent their brightest to study in the US, to study in Europe, and they were going there with cameras. So everywhere in the street, you'll see Japanese people taking pictures of the latest technology, the latest innovation, and people would make fun of them back then. They were like, whoa, what are these Asians doing? You know, and they will stay humble, like, okay, you just laugh at us, but we know what you are doing. Once they had gotten the knowledge from the Western universities, they went back to Japan
and applied it,
built their own ways, built their own inventions, which, you know, as we know, have a very huge impact on the world today. So it's kind of different from what happens in Africa, because we have brain drain. When our best geniuses go to study abroad, they want to stay there, and you know, we can't really blame them.
I can't really blame them.
You know, they are going there for better opportunities, better living standards, whereas if they come here back home with their Harvard degree, they might have difficult time securing jobs or a good salary. They find a lot of corruption going on. It all boils down to the systems. We have to put systems in place that are conducive to research and development.
You see, these guys in the diaspora, we truly cannot blame them. But then they have to realize that they owe it up to themselves. To invest back at home. Because at the end of the day, they are not white people. And you're not saying America or that land is not their home. Because as Africans and indigenous people, we are a global people. We're just saying that this is where actually they came from. And it's just, if they're going to invest, that's like everybody else. Everybody else is going to America, taking what they can, they're taking it back home. So why is that our people? I do not want it.
Exactly.
But if you do research, you realize some of these people have left some worse situations here back home. That it's even better than to stay there. Than to come back and deal probably with family. There's a lot of family issues. Governance is poor. There's too much corruption. So you really cannot blame them if they do not want to invest. In fact, in Kenya, the diaspora money was valued at 34 billion shillings. I'm assuming that's a lot of money.
Probably even more.
I don't know if it was shillings or dollars, but if it's dollars, it's a lot. But I don't think it's dollars.
But if it's shillings, it's probably something like more than 100 billion.
But you see, these guys, they were like, it's like they're having a hard time trying to invest back home. Because even their own family are not really trustworthy. Like, institutions and companies are coming through. They're saying, we have these houses you can buy. People are not really trustworthy. As in, a lot of con people around here, and that's why they're like that.
That shows there's still a lack of self-love amongst our people. You know, we need to start doing right by ourselves. If your fellow brother or sister contracts you to do a job for them, make sure you give your best. If you're going to produce things here in Africa, we need to produce them to a global standard. First for our own use, and then for use outside of the continent. We can export products, we can export talent, all for the benefit of the motherland.
Kabisa. We are so rich and endowed.
Exactly.
We have to do something about it.
Exactly.
And the poverty that is in our nation is just about the mindset. It's not really that we are poor in resources.
We are the richest in resources.
We just have a poor mindset, and we need to change. Some serious education needs to happen. Like the very fact that we're living in a capitalistic world, but nobody will teach you about money. As in, nobody's wasting time teaching about money, all the way from primary or the lower levels of learning to the higher levels. Nobody's really teaching you how to truly thrive in a capitalistic world. Because the way it was actually brought up, it was not really brought up for you, it was brought up against us. So we have to find a way, because even the way they use it, they do not really live in a capitalistic world. These people live in a social setting. They're in a capitalistic world, but they live in a social setting. Even in many scriptures, there's a word that says that the rich is one rich man is a friend to another rich man, but a poor man is not. A poor man is an enemy of another poor man. See, the richer get rich. That's how the rich get rich, because this is the rich person understand that it's a season. You have a difficulty. Maybe umekuwa na short flani, you cannot afford something, really, maybe your things have not gone through. So let me push you, then you just get back on your feet, because they understand you're a rich person. Of course, umejijenga, you have things to do.
And if we really look at capitalism, you realize that capitalism destroyed that spirit of Ubuntu that we had as indigenous melanated people. You see, capitalism thrives on poverty. or the rich need the human resources of the poor in order to generate their wealth.
Yeah.
So poverty is a side effect of the capitalistic system that we are in. Though you can play the game, you can win. It's like a chess game. You can win against the odds you can win against the odds against you, if I may say that. Yeah, by learning the rules of the game, learning how to generate wealth, how to cooperate with your fellow people. Like Bill said, the rich befriend each other, keep the wealth amongst them, share new ideas. Share new ways of making money. So that spirit of cooperation is very important. And we need to embrace that as a people.
That's interesting. We're actually also talking about how the same thing's gonna happen in this mainstream spirituality community.
Yeah.
As in, right now we're having like an epidemic where we are saying that people in the spirituality community, it's going to be a high class society. And they're going to like confine knowledge and all these things amongst themselves, and it will not be really good. Because those ones who deserve to have it all, or rather to have that, wananyimwa, then they give it to those who do not really deserve it.
Exactly.
So you see these high class bougie people, they're rushing. It's not really everybody with crystals, smart sticks. Sijui ati do meditation, most of them are not even genuine. Let's be honest, these people are not really genuine. The same problems you have in the church, here in the spirituality community is just there. People are hypocrites. You cannot trust people really. As in fact, in the spirituality community is actually more like serious. Actually, in church, you'll be like, okay, this guy is just ignorant.
They
will not even cause much harm. But in the spirituality community, people can kind of understand you better. They know your energies. They know they can like do your readings. So they can find ways to like mess you up.
Makes sense.
But as always, they have failed even before they began. So whoever will try to take that path has already failed before they've begun.
Okay.
So what you're saying is very right, but we have to change it all. Because the way these guys have centered that capitalistic world, they came and take resources from other people, wakajiwekea, then they call themselves rich. Then those who are actually deserving of this,
exactly.
So like before barrier to entry is very very strict. So guys, and right now there's a rush to leave the church. A lot of people live in churches, they do not know where to go. So there's this mainstream spirituality communities in Abuja, Jenny, let's do this, let's do that. Not all of them are good for you. Not all of them actually are genuine. In fact, most of them are not. Most of them are like institutions for same incarceration. So like just another system of slavery. Because at the end of the day, who do you think controls mainstream spirituality? It's just a system. It's not like like an actual body that this is the body that monitors and is in charge of spirituality.
There's no authority. But like eventually, even as you go down the spiritual path, it first starts within. So before you seek any community, do the work yourself. Really go deep, connect with your higher self. And once you are vibrating on that higher frequency, you can resonate that love to others, And so you'll even have the intuition to know this community isn't good for me, these people aren't good for me. And you'll also have the intuition to be able to tell, your first eye being open, you'll be able to tell this person or this teaching works for me, and you embrace what works, leave out, filter out what doesn't work for you.
Kabisa. It's a crunch time. What is happening? We gotta understand ourselves.
We do have
but we have to also learn from a lot of people. Japanese already babanga. We've talked about the Japanese and their products and the way those Americans, the white people, are laughing at them with their cameras. Imagine right now where they are.
Light years ahead.
Not just that, imagine the fact that they went back home, created products that were not like cosmetically pleasing, aesthetically actually pleasing as compared to like American products, but they were extremely better and even better in functioning than like American products. Because American products is just about aesthetics, but durability and efficiency is not really a good thing. So in most household or most household products at certain time in Japan, in America, were Japanese products. They were very reliable. It's like Toyota. You know, they say Toyota can take you anywhere.
Exactly.
But something like Land Rover or these other cars, they can take you, yes, but will they bring you back? You know? Toyota can take you and bring you back. That's where the Japanese kind of built that reliability.
Yes.
In that thing, and we have a lot to learn. From there, we have to build our own industries. And adopt that concept.
Okay. And the thing about the Japanese, if you look at some of the spiritual practices that thrived in Japan, for example, Zen Buddhism. You know, in Zen Buddhism, they focused on being fully present in the now, in the here and now. And one of the key factors in Zen Buddhism was doing everything to like perfection. So that kind of permeated in Japanese society, you know, perfectionism and doing things to a certain higher quality, a higher standard. So even if we are going to manufacture things back here at home, we have to make top class, like really good products that can compete at the global level. In fact, even before we go global, let's focus on consuming here at home, because if we decide as African people to trade solely amongst ourselves, we have already prospered because we have everything we need. We just need to like organize ourselves better.
That's very true.
Like we don't need the world as Africa. The world needs us.
That's the most painful truth, but even though equal.
I mean, look at the smartphones we are using. All of them have the material coltan. Coltan, I think it's used in the semiconductor of our smartphones, if not the battery.
Very essential, baby.
It's essential in every smartphone. And Apple is the most profitable company in the world, and it deals mostly with iPhones. Yet this essential substance that is in our iPhones is being mined by poor, sometimes children, poor people in the DRC Congo. You know? That's the paradox. Like, how can we be producing so much wealth for the world and us, we are poor, you know? This wealth in the Congo, we need to leverage it for our own good, for our own benefit.
And it's very interesting that you're bringing up this topic. Because recently in West Africa, these guys are rising and they don't want the West. No more interfering in their internal affairs. Baby.
Yes. Africa rising.
What's the name of that guy, that general from Burkina Faso?
Ibrahim Traore.
That's the one.
At 35 years old.
Man, this guy has lifted us up as youth in Africa.
Exactly. He has set the standard for youth in Africa. Like, we are tired of Western nations controlling our leaders. We don't want puppet leaders anymore. We don't want our resources to be exploited. We want to take charge of our destiny. And this is what Ibrahim Traore is speaking about.
Better governance, better application, better everything. We just have to improve. And the vibe that is bringing is that reincarnation of Thomas Sankara. That energy.
Exactly.
So we're going places with this.
Exactly.
This is the way to go. The signs are already here.
Exactly.
So it's about time that across the globe, we come to. We come to ourselves, we come to our senses, and we're like, you know what? If we know it's very hard, by the way. It's not a joke. It's very hard, but
it's an uphill journey.
If we not do it, man, these people will do it. The enemy will come and do it for us, and we will not have a claim to anything. So we have to do it for ourselves.
So Ibrahim Traore, you know, he looks promising. It's too soon to judge, but we hope that he'll execute what he's talking about. You know. Let's remember Thomas Sankara famously went to the UN and told African leaders, the clothes I'm wearing are from material from Burkina Faso. The shoes I'm wearing, the leather is from my country. You people, what are you wearing that is from your country? You know? 1 year later, they assassinated. Because he was dangerous. You know, a dangerous awakened black man is a threat to the capitalist system, to the white supremacy system. And we have seen several examples of such men being killed for our sake. How long shall they kill our prophets?
Yeah, well, we stand aside and look.
Yeah.
We cannot just do that.
Yeah. So it is up to us, young Africans, to rise and take a stand, you know. We can't be dormant anymore. Yeah, we can't afford to.
I guess right now these people, they're not strong, they're weak.
Yeah.
But they have influence and power. They have amassed influence and power.
Yes.
So they're not really some people to joke with.
Yeah.
But what's happening is right now they're in that time where it's damned if they do, damned if they don't. So will they save themselves?
Yeah.
Or will they still waste their time trying to bring you down? Because their time is up.
Time is up for sure.
I mean, they've reached the top and they've realized, you know what? Time is up. They have been found, and you know, time is running. The clock is running and the time is up. And they're trying to fight us. That's why every time they fight us in vain. And surprisingly, we just rise.
Yeah.
I mean, the crack epidemic in the States.
The HIV/AIDS epidemic in Africa.
Like hunger and stuff. Hunger here. Kuletwa naturally.
Exactly. Even the diseases have been cooked in the lab, deployed as biological weapons.
And the source is like, you know, this guy's got to go. So I don't want this guy. The time is like, you know, this guy is too much. The time is up. And
someone was saying the universe always restores itself to order and balance.
Yeah, you know.
And eventually it will restore itself. My art.
Harmony, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot really easily avoid what's gonna happen.
Earth also wants to restore itself to balance. After the current Western way of doing things has destroyed the waters, has destroyed the air, has destroyed our ecosystem. Definitely the earth, you know, wants to return to its original balanced state.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And it's happening. I feel like many of these natural disasters are basically the earth, you know, rebelling against what's happening and trying to like purge itself of all the damage.
Very true. You know, one thing people don't realize is that, you see the word heart, H-E-A-R-T, heart, that one that pumps blood out.
Yes.
If you take the H and you put it at the end of the word, it becomes earth.
Right.
So which means we are earth. And if the actual planet is trying to restore the universe, it means that within ourselves, the actual earth is actually trying to restore itself. The actual universe is trying to restore itself and purge all these things that we've been accumulating, all this trauma, all this stress, all this bad energy, bad vibration. There's a certain type of vibration isn't like this vibration of the colonizer and the slave master mindset that cannot continue no longer.
Yes.
You see, they're very smart. They have hidden themselves right now in bureaucracy and legalizing the laws so that they can legalize slavery.
Okay.
Like the way slavery moved from the plantations to
the office.
So because the Emancipation Proclamation was not to free slaves, it was to transfer ownership.
Okay.
From these slave masters to the state.
That's deep.
But that mindset can no longer continue. I think this is the reason why they're making movies about the end, like post-apocalyptic Earth, and the very fact that people are going to run away and take off to space.
Right.
But the truth is, Earth is not really at risk, in danger. It's those people. They're in danger, but they're trying to mislead us. Like, you know what?
Yes.
Like the apocalypse is coming, the end is coming. No, it's their end that is coming.
Yeah. And remember, even the great sun is like favorable to us as melanated people. And if the sun is getting hotter, as some sources are saying, then, you know, a lot of lighter skinned people are in real trouble. Not even lighter skinned, a lot of Caucasians, let me just put it that way, are in real trouble because they can't process all that light coming from the sun. And that's why you're hearing them maybe talking about colonizing other planets. They want to escape Earth. It won't be habitable for them in the near future.
They're building their own suns. You're like, why is this guy building an artificial sun?
Exactly.
You realize the earth does not want these people here, man. Nature's like, you know what, you guys gotta go. Now, bado, if they go, the universe is waiting for them over there in Mars. Like, you think you ran away? Triple blackness of space. We're here with you.
Yeah.
So, what did Bob Marley say? We should not fear them because we should not fear the atomic bomb because none of them can stop what is truly coming, which is the rise of our people.
Yeah, none of them can stop the time.
Even if they drone them bombs here, they will be surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of people metamorph from fire.
Exactly.
That heat, energy. People are coming back. Like you know that guy in Watch Dogs with Doctor Who, the blue guy, Dr. Manhattan. I mean, not Dr. Manhattan. I've forgotten his name.
Okay.
So this blue guy who kind of absorbed energy, like gamma energy, nuclear energy.
Yes.
And he could like spawn from nowhere.
Right.
So like a lot of things is actually happening. And naturally, solar dynasties, which is Africans and indigenous people, have the ability to actually absorb nuclear energy directly from the sun. Directly, actual natural nuclear energy. So nuclear energy is not something about white people and Western world. This thing has always been ours. Because the sun is always about nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. And we've always been the people about the sun. And if the sun is getting hotter, we are getting stronger.
We're definitely getting stronger.
Our consciousness is rising also. That's why I guess it's called the Grand Rising. People are rising to higher consciousness, states of consciousness.
Yes. Exactly. We need to look at the situation in Niger.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, because how come Niger is exporting uranium to France? France has electricity 24/7. Thanks to this uranium, they can make it through nuclear power. Whereas Niger has blackouts a lot of the time. In fact, they import electricity from countries like Nigeria. You see, this is the paradox that's happening in the continent. And we need to take care of situations like this.
Yeah. That's very true. Collective destruction or collective responsibility. That's true.
So we touch on LGBTQ agenda.
We could do that. There's too much controversy going on. We need more research.
Exactly.
To understand exactly what we are facing, because I guess a lot of Africans are like, you know what? This LGBTQ thing is a threat to our families. And the traditional African family, that is. And I guess some people are not really seeing this, which is a big problem, because you cannot say it is not when you have not actually done the background check. And you cannot say it's not because you cannot really see the effects of what this thing is bringing right now, which will ripple away in the future. Because at the end of the day, we do realize that for LGBTQ to function, you have to separate the man and the woman.
Exactly.
If you don't separate the man and the woman, there's really no LGBTQ.
And especially for us as melanated people, we need to look at what agenda the LGBTQ community has for us. You know, because how come, you know, there is hunger affecting us or all sorts of issues, but the Western world wants to focus on LGBTQ only. Like, how do they do this? Because they love us as a people, they care for our human rights, or is it because of that wanting to destroy the traditional African family, which is the man, woman, and children? And one other dangerous thing is that LGBTQ is now being pushed onto children, you know? So it's not yet as bad here in Africa, but like in the US, I saw this video of a trans person dancing in an elementary school, and he wasn't just dancing, he was dancing on a pole, like provocatively. So this puts a lot of confusion in the minds of children, like, what am I or who am I supposed to be? So they can even rush into doing things like switching their gender at a very young age, and then later on they're like, yo, I didn't want this for myself, but it will be too late, they can't reverse it. at the same time, it is like a birth control pill by itself. Because if two men marry each other, two women marry each other, there are no offspring to propagate the African family to the next generation. Yeah.
It's going to affect a lot because it's actually challenging what masculinity and what feminism is in our country and our people. Because we are all both have masculine and feminine features or spheres. And most of the time, the reason why people are in trouble is because these spheres are not in balance. These spheres are not in harmony.
Yeah.
And we have to balance them together. That actually will help us a lot. If we truly feel the LGBTQ is a threat, then it's about time we just address it. There's no need to go and we have to be open about it.
Definitely.
There's no need to go killing these people. What's the point? You know what you're doing is causing problems here.
But
and probably if they have issues, they should get help because the way we are going, things are not really going well. And the actual people who truly might deserve that much attention are these guys in the Kinasemenya. There's these naturally occurring people with these features. They are men, but they have feminine features. But rather they're women, but they have some seriously strong masculine features. So women are looking at them, they're like, you're not beautiful, and men are looking at them, they're like, you're not attractive. So these people are confused. What do we do? Because it's not like they've gone for a sex change or transition. They were born like that. So what do they do? So they're actually confused. So those are the people who actually need help.
Because personally, I feel like human freedom is guaranteed for everyone. So, you can have your own sexual preference. You love who you love, fine. But the problem comes when you try to shove your beliefs on the rest of us. You wanting to be, accepted as mainstream, wanting to change the natural order of things as far as sexuality is concerned. Because nature is very clear on this. We have masculine and feminine, and there's a physical manifestation of that. But now, introducing all sorts of pronouns to describe people will bring a lot of confusion in society. And it's not necessary, especially for us as Africans, it's not necessary to identify with those things at the moment. We have bigger problems to deal with. So, the whole community, for us as Africans, we need to really evaluate what benefits the community is going to have for us.
It's a long process. Because children right now, those small children, we're supposed to be teaching them problem solving skills. How to coping mechanisms and how to be themselves, how to grow, how to nurture themselves, how to take care of themselves. Right now, pushing that LGBTQ agenda on those young children, it does not even make sense.
It's very dangerous, in fact.
It doesn't even make sense.
Because as the Western world pushes this on children, if you look at a country like China, they're teaching children technical knowledge, STEM knowledge, their sciences, their technology, their mathematics. And this is exactly what builds a nation. Teaching children practical skills that will empower them in the future. So, we need to organize our priorities. What really do children need to learn?
That's very good.
And the other thing is, these pedophilias might get into the LGBTQ train, and the children will be confused. Already, if the children are confused, an older person will just be like, this is what I just like children, and it's the way I was born. And they will start doing all sorts of things to these children, and it will be legal because we accepted this kind of messed up thinking in society.
Actually, somebody was talking about that. He was asking, or they were asking, if these people in the LGBTQ community are going to come forth and say that they are born like that, they want their rights, then what is making these people like rapists and pedophilia come and say that they're just the way they are? They're born like that. Like the way these guys say, I was born with a gay gene. These pedophilias, they come and say, you know what, I was born with a pedophilia gene.
that will be dangerous.
Exactly. So those are those things, the issues we're saying it's a threat to the Africans
Yes,
family and
yes.
to the African social setting. And I've interacted with a lot of people, and I'm talking about Africa. Okay, they're not. Weirdly enough, they do not usually consider themselves Africans.
Yeah.
When they talk, they're like, black people. Then I realize, you know what? These people probably are not African. Consciously, they're not Africans.
Yeah, yeah.
They're consciously black people, but they're not really consciously African. That's why when we talk about the African family, they're like, no, that's not really true. It's because they're not consciously African.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And our focus in this podcast is Africa. Yeah. Africa for the Africans at home and abroad.
Yeah, man.
You know? So everything we discuss is centered on the African. Because we are all about African empowerment.
Yeah.
And reclaiming what is ours.
Kabisa. Because we are emerging into a great time where the guys in the diaspora are trying to come back home.
Yes.
And we like to tell them that they have to learn Kiswahili because they cannot be people who speak one language. Yeah. It actually kind of narrows down your understanding of a lot of things. When you speak a different language, you kind of broaden your horizons on many aspects. So they have to learn Kiswahili. Yeah. Not Swahili. There's no language called Swahili. English is called Kiingereza. Yeah. French is called Kifaransa. German is called Kijerumani. Kiswahili is called Kiswahili, not Swahili. Swahili is a culture and a people. Yes. So it's very disrespectful. To some extent, by the way, when we sit here and we listen to people say that you speak Swahili language, we're like, yo, you better get your shit together, man. There's the internet, man. You better get your shit together. Right, right. Yeah. And Kiswahili has the greatest potential for being Africa's national language. Yeah. Already it has 100 million plus speakers. Yeah. The seventh largest language in the world. Exactly. Yeah. So if you're going to have a Pan-African language, Kiswahili is the best candidate as for now. I mean, the guys in the States wanakuanga that celebration of Kwanza. Umoja, nguvu, ujabi, all those things, man. Yes. And they've embodied those Kiswahili, the Kiswahili names in their holidays. Yeah. And also the Rasta color. Oh, actually, we don't really call them Rasta colors because they're very prevalent in Africa. Right. So the Rastas were just saying, these colors, if you go to Africa, you just find them there. Okay. So if you call them Rasta colors, we start too. But yeah. And it's very good if we should go towards that direction. In fact, there should be more input towards that holiday. Yes. So that they can understand that language in depth. Exactly. Because it's kind of giving them some grounding, actually. Exactly. They actually feel themselves when they're on that Kwanzaa holiday. I have to celebrate our American brothers and sisters who came up with the holiday of Kwanzaa. Yeah. Because essentially that replaces Christmas for black people in the US. So definitely, I think it should be embraced globally. Yeah. Kwanzaa celebration. By those who... like globally, like in other societies of like in Africa, in African societies. Yeah, that's like instead of Christmas, we start celebrating Kwanzaa. That's good, man. And we got all it for you guys here. I mean, we won't lie. Here in Africa, things are not really good. There's corruption, poor governance, poor facilities, poor management, all that. Yeah. But there's a change that is coming. Yes. And we would like all our people to be part of this. Definitely. We would definitely like all our people to participate in. Yep. They should just come. And in fact, when we do research, what was Dr. Umar saying, talking about the black community spending, I don't know how much billions of dollars on cars, jewelry, and makeup. And they're like, all that money, if they could just pump it to an organization. Exactly. Come to Africa, maybe buy lands, start producing their own foods, start small industries, like weaving, knitting, cloth making, like small industries. Yeah, yeah. They will be very far. In fact, they will have a home in America, and they also have a home in Africa. In the continent. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Let's touch on true masculinity. True masculinity. Where we understand there's a lot. What is really masculinity? Not really. Yeah. Because the definition is actually coming from, let's say, people who do not wish well for us. Exactly. So we have to define what masculinity is and what it entails for ourselves. Yeah. And what it means for Africans. Yes. Because these are children that are coming to teach us knowledge which we get. So,
our babies.
Hey man, so at this point, you have to sit down, go back to the sources of our ancestors.
Yes.
We check the sources of our ancestors. And the best thing about where we are, especially amongst Africans, that's why we are calling it the Grand Rising.
Yeah.
Is that this knowledge, wisdom, information is coming through, not even necessarily through internet.
Yeah.
You can download information just directly by being in the sun, by being in the moon,
being in nature.
by being in nature. Even a rock that is still cannot move, even a cat that has been hit by a car down the road, can still give you information.
Exactly.
Life is everywhere. Information is everywhere. It's energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Downloads everywhere, man.
Just need to tap in.
Yeah.
I feel like true masculinity is about having a purpose and being an embodiment of that purpose. Because if you look at most of our best leaders, how they embody masculinity is that they fought for something, they stood for something, and they transmitted this into society. So as a man, once you're about a noble purpose, a higher purpose, and you really focus on that, and then, set an example to others, we can say that is true masculinity. We have been, there's a lot of pressure put on men that one of the only things you bring to the table is to be a provider, especially financial provider. You're just considered like a money making machine. So if you have the man with the most money, generally is considered masculine, unfortunately. And that's not the case, because there's more to being a man than just having a huge bank account and flashing money or just providing money for your family. There's that direction you can provide. There's discipline, there is leadership, there is authority. All these are facets that make a good man.
But right now, I'm happy. You go to work,
you
come home, you provide. That's what makes you a man. Get out. Go get a job. Go get a wife, get a house, get children. Buy a car.
Exactly.
Buy a car. Bought a car. Other men have bought a car. So we have to define these masculine roles and what masculinity really is for us, because there was a time people would say, like, being a man, William say, someone who can fight, that's a man. But we reached a place we realized, the fact that you can fight and beat someone, that does really not make you a man.
Exactly.
It's the same way the fact that you can bear children does not actually make you a parent. It does not automatically make you a parent. So we truly have to sit down and define these roles for us, including also feminine roles for our women, because at the end of the day, if you're going to talk about masculinity, you're going to talk about the feminine energy also, because they're interconnected. Two halves of the same coin, they balance each other, like the yin and the yang. So we have to cater for both masculine energy and feminine energy. And for men, I guess it has reached, especially for African men, it has reached that time where they have to tap into their feminine energy. It has reached that point that men have to tap into their feminine energy, because at the end of the day, none of us is born from a man and a man. All of us are born from both. Okay, I don't know about all of us, but the ones we know, born from a man and a woman. So which means you are half your mother, you're half your father.
Exactly.
The fact that, like, outwardly you express yourself as a man does not mean that you're not a woman, because the one that you cannot see is a woman. The one that we can see is a man. Same to women. The one that you can see is a woman. The one that you cannot see is a man.
Yes, so balance is important.
Balance, man, harmony, balance, and that's what is truly happening.
And as men, we need to step up and look out for our fellow men. Suicide rates amongst us is very high. Men don't have someone to talk to, someone to guide them. They don't feel loved. So we need more mentors in our society to guide young men, to show young men direction, and even to set an example, because most of the men we see in the public life, they don't necessarily set a good example. you know. We need men who stand up for something. Leaders, prophets, revolutionaries, spiritual men. We need to rise up.
Someone will like man of God.
Exactly.
But that's the thing.
And we'll definitely be bringing you high value men on our podcast. Who will inspire you, who will uplift you, who will elevate you.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
There's a lot. We're just beginning. There's a lot to do.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot to go. Hey. Anyway, I don't know. We don't really know about how women do. We cannot talk about their spaces. As much as we have the feminine energy, we do not really know about what it is and what it means to be a woman.
Definitely.
That's on their, like, that's the thing. But all of us have sisters, some of you have daughters, some of you have female friends, so we kind of know enough that we understand what is really going on. That we need each other. Black men and black women, it has reached that point. We truly need each other. We have to put these differences aside. We do understand that some of you have truly been hurt. In fact, sorry does not even do you justice. Some people have truly been hurt. And sorry does not do you justice. But what are we gonna do? You see, we cannot stagnate.
Exactly.
We truly cannot stagnate.
Exactly.
Because you see, hurt people. And hurt people need help also.
Yes.
And that's the problem. And our problem is we are seeing hurt people and we are like, oh, that person is toxic. That person has bad vibes. These people actually, they just need help.
Definitely.
They just need help.
Definitely.
And we have to stand up for each other, especially men. We just have to stand up for each other. Because women are known to be like the shittiest people amongst themselves. We are not gonna sugarcoat this. Women are known to be women's enemies. Even they themselves
they know.
They will tell you this. But weirdly enough, they will back each other up. But when they're going to back their fellow women, it's usually when she's on the wrong. When they're found, this one is on the wrong, then they rush to help her. But we have to do something. We have to do something about ourselves, because men can just see another man thinking now, like, but this they're
like guy, toughen up, be a man.
This same guy will go. He has a chick or a wife. Then he'll take his resources and like he'll go and put another chick. Well, I don't know. She takes this chick. She goes and he rents a house for her, buys her shopping, buys her everything. This chick is not even his wife or his girlfriend. He has a main. But he will do that for a side chick. But he cannot do that
for a fellow man.
So that's why J. Cole was saying he wants to fight for his niggas like he fights for his queen.
Nice.
Sometimes I brag like Bon Cena.
Good stuff. All right, sawa. So we can wrap it up there for today.
I guess we can do it. We ask you guys to tune in. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Share with us. We want to know more. Where we can expand our horizons. How can we reach you? Our diaspora people or our people all over the globe. You're actually our target. Because we wanna bring things back together.
Exactly.
So wherever you are, just feel free to reach out. We'll be there.
Reach out to us. Any questions? Let us know. Let us know what you think in the comments as well. We are here for each other. As Africans. So thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next episode. Ashe.
We're going to check in.